Hey Instagram, it's your girl Alexis, the founder of College Days Media. Today we are going live with Dr. Ashley Adams, the founder of School and Life podcast. So join us as we get started. I'm inviting her now. Hey everybody, welcome. Hey. We are waiting to connect with Dr. Adams. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much. You are the first of many that I'm interviewing on College Days, our new series, Millennials on the Move. So congratulations on all of your success. Hey, everyone that's joining us.
Hi, everyone.
So congratulations on your success. I want to learn more about you, your journey becoming a doctor, and your podcast that I need to listen to. I haven't listened to it yet, but reading upon it, I'm like, okay, this looks like a home for me.
Well, good. Well, thank you so much, College Days Media, for having me. My name is Dr. Ashley Adams. I am a PhD in education, higher education administration. Specifically, I earned my PhD from SLU. So that's St. Louis University in Missouri in 2015. And I work as a full-time university administrator at a university in the Northeast. So I work every day with college students, supporting them with student affairs related stuff. So like student conduct, student advocacy, that kind of stuff. I lead a team of staff who do that kind of work, career services, student engagement, that kind of stuff. I really love my work. I'm super passionate about education and student affairs. But I also really had a passion for storytelling and kind of having conversations that matter in the lives of women in particular. And so a year and a half ago, I started School and Life, which, is aptly named, mostly after a Beyonce song by the same name.
I noticed that you were a part of Beehive.
Yes, I am a staunch part of the Beehive, but also because the brand just really aligned with, my personal relationship with education and the power of that. And so School and Life is a weekly podcast. We say that it's about life, love, and occasionally libations. Comes out every Tuesday, and it's an opportunity for folks to have those coveted girlfriend conversations that you might have over the phone with your girlfriend and y'all talking all night. We have those every week on the podcast, and we extend that to our growing audience.
Okay, well, that is a mouthful of everything from Dr. Ashley Adams. So my first question is, what was your original dream job as a little girl?
I wanted to be president of the United States. That has always been my dream job. I'm the oldest of 7 children. I have 6 younger siblings. I like being in charge. I like telling people what to do. I'm very bossy. And so that's just a big part of like who I am as a person. And so I thought, well, what's the bossiest job out there? Like who is the person who tells everybody what to do? And in my 5-year-old brain, that was the president. So I always have wanted to be the president of the United States. And this current political climate, I'm good, but I think that I get my fill for telling people what to do as a university administrator and as someone who's like in charge of thousands of college students every day. And I just want to pause and say hi to everyone who's joining. I don't want to ignore you. I see some of you saying hello. Thanks so much for joining and helping us have this conversation. So,
yes. So my next question is, during undergrad, did you want to go into education or did you study something else?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really interesting question. I feel like so my undergraduate degree, I have a bachelor's degree in sociology and a minor in communications. Okay. And honestly, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do in undergrad. Like, I knew I liked people. I knew I wanted to go to college, but I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. And I certainly wasn't thinking about I'm going to be a university administrator and a faculty member when I get old. That definitely wasn't what I was thinking. I just knew that I had to get out of my mama house and I knew I needed a degree. So I went to a liberal arts a liberal arts university in the state over. So I grew up in Southern Illinois and I went to college in Missouri. And I just knew that I wanted to go to college, and I knew that I needed a degree. That was pretty much it. I think it wasn't until I was nearing graduation that I was I loved college. I loved education. I loved like studying. But I didn't want to incur more debt. So I was like, what can I do to stay at a university, but not incur more debt and have to be a student? And I was like, oh, there's people that work here. Like, it almost never occurred to me that there were people that worked at the university outside of like my college professors. So that's when I realized, oh my goodness, like I could be a university administrator. I could stay in the college environment and like really do all the stuff that I really love, and engage with in college, but work full time. And so I went to grad school. I have a master's degree in sociology as well. And then, like I said, my PhD is in education.
Okay. So, so I know you didn't want those dreadful student loans. So how did you pay for undergrad, graduate school, and your PhD?
Yes. And hey, Martinique, thanks so much for joining. I'm so glad that you're here. I would say, so I did use student loans, so I don't want to skirt that issue, and I'm still paying them back, bless the Lord. But I used student loans to pay for undergrad. Okay. My master's degree, I was a McNair scholar, and if you are considering graduate school, you absolutely have to apply to the Ronald E. McNair program. Okay. If you have questions about that, feel free to personal message us at School of Life Pod. And I'll make sure that I get you a link or something. But the Ronald E. McNair program is a great program for underrepresented minority folks who are considering graduate school. So that paid for my master's degree. And then for my PhD,
Wait a minute. So they paid for your whole master's degree.
The whole master's degree.
Was it an 8-month program? Was it 2-year program?
Oh, girl, no. It was a 2-year program at DePaul University in Chicago.
Oh, my goodness.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and they paid for the whole thing.
Okay, that's awesome.
So that was absolutely transformative. So
I have a question. Yeah. What about med school loans?
Yes. Okay. So my PhD is an education PhD. So I have I'm a doctor of education. So I have a PhD in higher education administration. So my PhD, the first year I had an assistantship, which meant the university paid for it. And I would just say in general, if you're going to graduate school, somebody else should pay for it. Like, you should not be paying for graduate school. If you're smart, if you're capable, particularly if you're underrepresented minority, a woman, you got a disability, you're Black or like Asian or like you or any underrepresented minority, somebody else should be paying for that. You can pay for undergrad, but somebody else should be paying for grad school. That's Ashley's rule number 1. But for graduate school, the first year I had an assistantship, which typically means like you work for a professor, right? So I worked for a professor in his office the first year. And then honestly, the last 2 years of my PhD program, I went back to work. So I felt like I was going to have this PhD and very little experience, like 3 or 4 years of experience. And I felt like I wasn't going to be able to get the type of jobs that I wanted to get out of grad school. So I needed to work more and have more years of experience. So I actually paid for my last 2 years of graduate school. And that's not something that I would advise someone else do. But for me, in my situation, that was important because I was going to have like a PhD and only 3 years of work experience. So who wants to hire that person, right? So, and I knew I wanted to be an administrator. Excuse me, not a faculty member. So that was really important to me. So like I said, undergrad, I took out student loans. Graduate school, or my master's degree, the Ronald E. McNair program, which I would highly recommend to everyone. It's a trio program. They pay for that. And then my PhD, the first year the school paid for it, and the last 2 years I paid for it. But I had the scholarship or the assistantship for the full 4 years. I just decided to go back to work. So that's how I did education.
How did you land your assistantship? You just went online and applied?
No. So I actually, and I would recommend this, if you're thinking about graduate school, you should let's say you want to earn a master's degree in marketing communications. So you want to identify like which program you want to attend. So maybe you're location bound. You're like, you know what? I'm in New York. I can't move. I have to find a program in New York. So you want to find the best programs in New York. Or maybe you're like, listen, I'll go anywhere, whoever's going to give me the most money. Decide, how you want to sort of line it up. And then you want to reach out to faculty members who teach in that program. Oh. So that's how I got my assistantship. I went to SLU, St. Louis University in Missouri. So I went to slu.edu and I looked up the faculty list and I emailed each of the faculty member like, hi, my name is Ashley Adams. And, I'm really interested in studying higher education administration. These are my goals related to earning a degree in this field. And, I'd like to learn more about financial resources for, people who are looking to, have funds to go to graduate school. And I just like emailed all of the faculty, and, some of them responded, some of them didn't. But the ones that responded would connect me with the resource pages where you could find information about assistantships. And some of them were like, oh, I have an assistantship next year. You can apply specifically to mine. Because a lot of this information nowadays you can find like on the financial aid website and all that stuff, but you want to specifically, and I would recommend specifically reaching out to faculty members at the universities you want to go to who teach in that program, like to get kind of an insider, because you want to have a personal connection. That's definitely something I would recommend.
Got it. So were you reaching out prior to being accepted into the school?
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
And I would recommend that. Yep. Especially like you want to do both. I mean, if you already been accepted, reach out, as soon as you know to reach out. But if you're exploring graduate school, you thinking about it like, yeah, I might go, I'm kind of deciding, just, find 3 faculty members, maybe, usually on the websites, it'll say like what they're interested in, or like, what they like to study. Find somebody that's interested in what you're interested in. Maybe you're interested in family studies, or, you're interested in the history of women, or it could be anything. Figure out what they are interested in, figure out if it aligns with what you're interested in, and then send them an email. Doesn't have to be long, doesn't have to be really detailed. Tell them who you are, tell them why you're interested in them and their work, and let them know that you're looking for financial resources to go to graduate school.
Cool. Okay. Because I am in the process of,
okay,
I applied and I'll find out next month, but I don't have any money. So
okay,
I don't have any money, and now it's getting closer and closer to the day, and I'm like, should I not go? Because I'm already doing what I want to do. But my friends that are that have their graduate degree, they're saying go for the networking.
Yes.
So
yeah, and I'd agree, but you don't want to pay $60,000 a year for networking. So you need to get some funding.
Yeah.
So I would absolutely reach out to those faculty members and say, I'm really interested in this program. These are my credentials. I'm looking for, funding, I would say I'm looking for assistantships, fellowships, and grants, right? Because loans are things that you have to pay back. But those other 3, fellowships, assistantships, grants, scholarships, those 4, you don't have to pay back. So that's what I would recommend.
Okay. I should have brought my notebook, because you're giving out really good tips.
Gems.
You're dropping gems. Okay. So if you guys have, hey, everyone that's just now joining us, if you guys have any questions in regards to higher education, please feel free to talk to Dr. Adams. She has a PhD. She also has an amazing podcast, which we're going to discuss next. So ask away. I know we did have a question earlier. They said, what about for grad school? So for grad school, she recommend that you pay for your grad school. Do you want to elaborate?
Well, the other way around. You pay for undergrad, let somebody else pay for graduate school.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Do you want to elaborate on that? Why do you feel like?
So I would say, and I mean, obviously this is not a blanket statement, but in general, I would strongly encourage you not to take out loans to go to graduate school. I strongly encourage you to find outside funding to go to graduate school. Somebody else should be able to pay for that. There is so much money out there, whether it's like, federal grant programs, or almost every university has some type of scholarship assistantship for graduate school, especially if you're looking at the PhD level. Sometimes at the master's level, it can be a little murky, but if you're looking at a PhD program, a pharmacy, PharmD program, you're looking at an EDD program, you're looking at any of that, somebody else should be paying for that. So I encourage you to, identify the top 5 schools you want to go to their financial aid pages, go to their, the official graduate school webpage, see what type of funding is available. If you don't see what you're looking for, maybe the deadlines have passed, or, you're not sure, just reach out to the faculty members, go to the faculty page for the program that you're interested in, just, skim down it, see, I remember when I was looking for a fellow Black faculty members, right? Like I knew I wanted to be working with, people of color. So that was important. Maybe you look for people's research interests. So like, what are they researching? What are they focusing on? Are they focusing on maybe you're in digital multimedia. You want somebody who's done that work or has experience there. Or maybe you are studying, adolescent psychology or whatever. Like whatever it is, you want to find somebody who has similar interests, and just email them and let them know what your interests are. Oftentimes faculty members, especially at the graduate level, they get grants. And so they're looking for somebody to work in their office for 20 hours a week and, get money, and they'll give you money towards your education for that. So graduate school, I strongly encourage you to make sure that you reach out to faculty members and somebody else pays for that. Undergrad, you know, you might get some scholarships, you might get a full ride. That's great. If you don't, I really believe that an undergraduate degree is the minimum. That's an investment in yourself. And if you make that investment in yourself, somebody else should make the investment in you at the graduate level.
Gotcha. Okay. Let us know if you guys have any more questions in regards to higher education. Now we're going to move on into the podcast, School and Life. So I think it's a little obvious, but I'm going to go ahead and ask, how did you come up with the name School and Life?
Yes, it's my favorite thing to talk about. So School and Life, it's School and Life podcast, and School and Life, the lifestyle brand. It's something that's just really personal to me. Like I said, I'm an educator by nature, and it's what I'm passionate about. But I'm a huge fan of Beyonce. I love you, B. And she has a song called School and Life. And I love the song. It's on the album 4, which, by the way, is Beyonce's best album. No debates. So it's her best album. So the song just talks about, like, growing up and just getting older in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s, and just how you grow and advance and level up at every step. And that just really resonated with me. Plus, as an educator, the term School and Life really worked for me. Me and my co-host, Marcy, we both work in education. We both are 2 Black women with PhDs. Her PhD is in clinical psychology. So she's a clinical psychologist, and she actually works at a university helping college students with mental health issues. And I work as a university administrator. So Marcy is in Atlanta and I live in Pennsylvania. So the name and the brand really aligns with who we are as Black women with PhDs as well.
Okay. So after reading, I understand that you guys have created a platform for women to talk about anything under the sun. I'm someone that loves to talk to my girlfriends.
Yes.
And I also love to talk to them while I'm in the tub. We just catch up, because life can go by so fast. And after undergrad, I know for me, I had a severe case of separation anxiety.
Yeah.
So I went to school in Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm originally from Los Angeles. And when I came back home, I wasn't surrounded around go-getters. Like, my whole world turned upside down. So I would call just to talk to my homegirls, and we were all in the same thing. Like, I really miss you guys. Like, we spent 4 years together. Now we don't get to see each other anymore. And it was crazy. So I definitely want to listen to your podcast to get the feel. I feel like that's something that I need at this point in my life, because after undergrad, everybody's life just changes drastically. We're working, we're starting families, we're in relationships, we're getting married, we're buying cars, we're buying houses, and it's like, you miss your friends.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what's true is that, we always say at School and Life, like, the world is increasingly an isolating place, right? Like, we grow up, we move far away from our families to go to college, or we move far away for a job. You don't get to connect with people in person. You basically got to hop a flight to see your friends nowadays. A lot of, families don't live in the same place for, generations or whatever. And almost all of our friends and connections are on our phone, right? Like, we're looking at the phone to try to, like, build connections and relationships with people. And so School and Life literally exists to help women build connections with one another. Like, we exist to, like, create community with people and make people feel like they're connected to something. And like, they're in a class. We call our listeners class. And we talk about stuff that matters to us. A new episode dropped today, because today's Tuesday, and this week's episode was called Tidying Up and Taking Care. And so my co-host Marcy and I have been watching Marie Kondo's Tidying Up on Netflix, and if you haven't watched it, you should check it out. So we were talking about, like, being tidy and tidying up, and she's married, so she talked about how her husband is way more tidy than her, and how it's just hard to, like, keep a clean house when you just got a lot of stuff going on, especially if you've got roommates and other people living there, and the stress of that. And we had a guest on this week too, a blogger and fashion model. She came on to talk about, she has a really inspiring life story about having struggled with sexual abuse as a child, and struggled with infertility, and so she talks about her experience with that, and got really vulnerable and, like, really honest with our listeners about, what that meant for her, and, how she's had to rely on other women to build community and help her get through some of the toughest times of her life. So that's the kind of conversations we're having. You know, a couple weeks ago, we had a conversation about deal breakers, right? So deal breakers in relationships. Like, would you date somebody who got 3 kids by 3 different women? Or would you date somebody who is like, oh, let's move to California because I want to pursue my dreams, but we're going to have to live in my auntie basement the whole time, you know? Or like, you know, we've had a conversation about, it was called sexual fluidity. And we talked about how it seems like we are more sexually fluid than ever, and like maybe we need to drop some of the rigid lines of like, I'm straight, I'm gay, I'm bi, I'm trans, like, right? And so that like our sexuality is more fluid than we think it is. And so the conversations range, but so do your conversations with your girlfriends. Sometimes y'all talking about bills, sometimes y'all talking about boys, time y'all talking about, you know, bugaboos. Like, it just, you know, it's all over the place. But that's how school and life is. You switch from class to class throughout the day, but you're getting that well-rounded education. And that's what we really believe in at School and Life.